I love what I do in everything that I do. You know, I love the work that I do for Instagram. I love the work that I do I love being a mom. I love acting. I don't think you sit down and you go, okay, how am I going to balance myself?
Yeah.
You just wake up and you do it.
Yeah.
You wake up and you go. I'm not going to give you the fake laughs anymore as if what you're doing is okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to Switch On with myself, Kyle Clark. A love letter, a show curated to be the most beautiful love letter to our generation. It's the guidance you never knew you needed from the people you wanted to hear it from the most. Do me a favor, leave a review and share the moments that inspire you. Today's show is going to be absolutely epic. On today's show, we sit down with one of South Africa's favorite on-screen actresses, Jessica Nkosi, as we talk in depth about the beauty of motherhood and what balance means to her in today's world. Jessica takes us through the importance of perspective and also how communication patterns can change relationship styles. It's time to switch on. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you. It's been absolutely amazing getting to know you over the past, I would say, 2 years?
Yeah, yes. It's been 2 years now.
It's been 2 years.
I forget that it's nearing end of the year.
You've just lost track of time completely.
Yeah.
Your career has been such a roller coaster for you. How has the journey, what is the most beautiful memory if you look back now of your actual career? The one that sticks out to you the most?
It would have to be the fact that I am living my dream.
Wow.
I'm living something that when I was still at school and in varsity, I'd say, this is what I want to be. And I am living that. And I think that is just the greatest blessing. So for me, the highlights has to be the fact that I'm living my dream. This is what I wanted to do and I'm growing in it. I'm not yet exactly where I want to be.
Really?
But
You really feel
not
that way?
even close,
Oh my
honey.
gosh. So what does where you want to be look like?
I want to tell more stories. I'm a storyteller.
I get it.
I want to tell more stories acting wise. I want to go behind the scenes and start producing.
Really? Wow.
Yes. I want to start producing and be the ones giving actors jobs as well.
That's incredible. So you want to open up the industry as much as you can.
100%. Just to set the standard. I want us to reach international standard of producing and production and how actors are paid and everything here in South Africa.
I mean, that's a really incredible pinnacle. Do you feel that we are almost close? Because from 10 years ago compared to South African TV now, TV has changed so much. And do you believe we're even close?
Storytelling wise, I feel like we're doing well. We are pushing our boundaries. We are telling more stories.
Yeah.
They're more open to exploring different cultures and what South Africa is about. I think more attention needs to be paid of how actors are treated or paid. We could always use more money.
Of course.
You find in America, someone will be on Days of Our Lives only, and that's all they've done. They've been on Days of Our Lives for 30 years, and they are millionaires.
Wow.
They don't have to do anything else.
They didn't have to go to Netflix. They didn't have to go to Hulu.
They don't have to act in 3 productions in one, at one time. Today you're going to this production, today you're going to that production, so that you can at least get, they don't have to do multiple things at a time. They love acting and that's what they do and they get paid enough for it.
Yeah.
And I want us to get to a point where, and that's probably a government thing and, it's bigger than we are. And I know there are many people that are fighting for us. And as the years go by, I know it will get better. And also just little things, man, little things like having private rooms for actors. I remember we never had that in a few productions I've been in. Then I got to Ferguson Films and there is a room with my name on it. And I'm like,
whoa.
Whose room is this?
Is that for
me? They're like,
me?
it's yours. I'm like, okay, after, when I'm done today, whose room is it? And they're like, it is yours. Your room. It has your name. I open, there's a couch, there's a long mirror.
Ooh.
And you can see that Connie and Shona Ferguson sat down and they said, how can we just take it a step higher, further. Yeah. And that's what I want to do as well. Where they are, how can I also take it a step further? You know, oh my God, yeah, we are treated like queens there. They made sure that the food is good, because usually the known thing is food and production companies is trash.
Girl, I know.
Listen,
you might as well go to Joburg Jen if you're looking for that. You know, you might as well.
None of that's in Ferguson Films. You know, we have prawn curry, and I got there and I'm like, what?
For real?
And they're like, yeah, would you like some prawn curry or salmon and salad? I'm like, what? You know, I was just like, sorry.
Where am I?
You know, so just from that, you can see that they sat down and they said, this is what we've experienced as actors, and this is what they'll do as producers. And that's why I always think that actors make the best producers, because we know what should change and we know how it is behind the scenes.
It's so true, because so many times I believe, especially, and this is so left center, but like working with my contractors, building my house at the moment, you know, if I'm kind to them and if I give them an environment that is beautiful, they will do a 10 times better job than usual. And obviously you feel the exact same.
You took the words out of my mouth.
And I mean, you guys have shown it. You're winning awards. You are an MC, you're a mom at the same time. Like, friend, how do you even balance it all? Do you even have balance in your life at the moment?
I just think, yes, I do have balance.
Okay.
I do have balance. I just think that, God, maybe it's just how God created us, honestly, because I don't think you sit down and you go, okay, how am I going to balance myself?
Yeah.
You just wake up and you do it.
Yeah.
You wake up and you go.
There's no time to think, right?
Yeah, no, sitting down and wallowing and saying, I have so much to do. Girl, get up, have a cup of coffee and go. I'm very organized, if I should say. I love to plan out my week.
Wow.
You know, I will sit down and I'll say, okay, this is what I'll do. What do we have coming up in the next month? Okay, how can I fit in this? How can I do this? Okay, I want to add this and this and this. So I am a very organized person. So maybe you could say that's how I find balance when I do. But in my mind, I'm just a go person.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with balance, especially if you're throwing yourself into so many different pots at the same time.
Yeah.
And trying to give quality attention to that certain task in your life must be so difficult.
Yeah.
Are you able to block everything out when you're focusing, let's say, on just being a mom, or you're focusing on a certain task or learning a script? Are you able to block everything out?
Absolutely, because I love what I do. I love what I do in everything that I do. You know, I love the work that I do for Instagram. I love the work that I do I love being a mom. I love acting. So when I am reading my scripts, I usually do everything in my glam room. That's like my little hideaway. Yeah. I go to my glam room and I'll sit there and I'll go over my script, and it's like takes me to a totally different world.
Wow,
you know, and I'm done with that. So I have I know that I'm done with that. So I don't have like, what's the word I'm looking for? Nembeza. What's Nembeza in English? Do you know that word?
Other commitments.
Yes. So oh my word. That, look at you.
Go, I'm dating a Swati king, hey?
And that's like, nobody knows that word. Nembeza is a big Zulu word.
But you.
Yes, so I know that I can then go and be with my baby and be fully, give her all the full attention, knowing I have no other commitment. I've already read my script.
Yes.
I'm ready for tomorrow. I know my lines. All I have to do is get onto set, get into character, and let's go. So it's just preparing for everything. If I have a campaign that's coming up, make sure everything is shot, everything is done, so that we're sitting with everything and we're like, okay, when are we actioning each and everything? And it really does help to have a team as well. Yeah. Some people to delegate to, and that really does help. And that comes with growth. The more you grow, the more you do, the more you can hire people,
and the more you can expand,
to help you. Exactly.
For sure. I mean, let's talk about pressure, number one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's something that you deal with all the time. I mean, you have so many things happening at the same time. So how do you deal with constant pressure? And also, what I want to know from you is, how do you teach people how to treat you in those very high intense moments?
I am naturally a very kind person. You can think that you can just walk all over me very easily.
But you can't.
But when the time comes, I do come out.
Okay,
all
you
the
come
time.
out to play.
And that's why when you know that when I get to a point where I'm just like, okay, let's sit down, we have to have a conversation. You know that you're gonna take me seriously, because I don't. Oh, sorry about that.
You're all good.
I forgot to switch it off.
You're all good.
what was I saying? Yes. So I am kind. I am very understanding. I am slow to anger, but I like people. I just need people to do their work.
Okay.
And if somebody doesn't do anything or doesn't do the right things, I've learned to sit down and speak to people. And if someone isn't doing something that they know they're supposed to do, then they're not supposed to be with me there.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I deal with incompetent people.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened? Something happened yesterday where I had to, you know how sometimes in an uncomfortable situation, you just laugh and you go,
Yeah,
okay.
nice.
Because I was at, you know,
I can
because you're like,
imagine
it's okay. I've learned to go, no, it's not okay.
Yeah.
This is that, and you don't do A, and this is how you're going to do it. I'm not going to give you the fake laughs anymore as if what you're doing is okay.
Wow.
Yesterday, I was at the petrol station. And the guy next to me was like, oh my, Jessica, can I take a picture? And I was like, cool. So I rolled down my window and we take a picture. And then one of the petrol attendants was like, you asked for a picture. Why don't you ask for a phone number? And I could have gone, oh, why not? No.
So cute. No,
and I said,
actually.
Listen, this is between him and I. It has none of your business. You didn't have to say a single thing.
Yeah.
2, stop being a pervert.
Yeah.
This is an innocent moment of him just asking for a picture. Stop putting your horrible manly things
Narratives
onto
on
this
me. On someone else,
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not asking for a number. He's seeing someone that he watches on TV every day, and he asked for a picture, and I said yes. Stop being a pervert.
Yeah.
You know, and I told him there, and I was just like, don't do that. And he was like, oh, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, yeah, why would you ask for my number?
Yeah.
I'm old. Do you really think that I'm single, first of all? You know, and that just taught me that really I am now a person who I won't skinner and laugh and be uncomfortable. I will tell you what, I'll give it to you, basically.
Yeah. Have you had to teach people how to treat you on your journey? And obviously, you know, coming from being a people pleaser and someone that everyone could walk over to a point now where you are standing up for yourself and you'll be like, no, that's actually not okay. I actually mentioned it earlier. Jada Pinkett Smith and Willow Smith on their Red Table Talk, they said something that is so beautiful. Yeah. You have to love yourself to show people how to love you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I feel like you have had to learn that from the beginning of your career to now. Have you found yourself in situations where the conversation is actually so uncomfortable that you actually want to exit and short left?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you'd rather not have those difficult conversations. Honestly, I'd just
you're like, do your job because I don't have to sit with
the
you.
better thing to do is just to be like, you know what, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but no, as we grow up, I know that I am a certain way. For an example I can make, I am always on time at work. I arrive on time. In actual fact, I arrive early. If you know today, you asked me to be here at 15:15. At 10:00, I called your phone to ask where am I going to park. Yeah. So I am always, if punctual. You ask me, that's just me. So anyone who comes late grinds me because I'm always on time. So I get to work early. I get to work early. I know my lines. You can tell me to shout now and I'll say my lines even before I rehearse them with my actor. I am on time. I know my lines. I arrive. I get the work done. I'm not running around talking to everyone, having a jolly good time. I know I'm here to work and to do ABC.
Yes.
So if I am at work and the AD doesn't do something, or I'm busy doing my makeup and the AD comes and tries to rush my makeup, and I'm like,
no, guys, respect my time, actually.
My makeup takes an hour and 30 minutes. Why are you here in 60 minutes? So that happened twice. The third time it happened, I stood up and I said, please, could you come with me to the office? Because I spoke to you the first time, I spoke to you the second time. One, you make my makeup artist uncomfortable because now she's doing my eyeshadow and she's rushing because you are telling her to rush. Did I arrive to work late? No. Why are you rushing me? Then I went to the producers and I said, I would like to not wear makeup anymore. I'd like to get to work, get into my character clothes and go and shoot. And they said, why? I'm saying because I'm not given enough time to do makeup. You asked me to be here at 6. At 6 o'clock, at 5:45, I'm always at the parking lot. Yet at 7, someone is here in my ear about my makeup, making my makeup artist uncomfortable. Therefore, she's rushing and poking my eyes and my lash is sitting crazy because now she's nervous.
And she's not doing her best work for your character.
She's not doing her best work because she thinks she's late. And I'm like, they're only supposed to come up to me at 7:30. So unless I was late, then rush me. But if I'm not late, why is someone
conversating with me
behind.
for no reason.
Don't. You have no right to talk to me except for my makeup artist. After that, hey. After that, then you have me. What time am I yours? 7:30. Then why at 5 to 7 are you here? So I was just like, okay, it's fine. I think the easiest thing to do is just to eliminate makeup. They were like, what? I'm like, no, because no one is listening to me. I spoke about it the first time, spoke about it the second time, so I'm not going to do makeup anymore. Thank you very much. They would till today, like 7 months later, nobody touches me until it's time. Until it's done. And I'm like, so it just took that. I should have done that the first time. I shouldn't have said, hi, listen, please can you just, No, then people will walk all over you. And I've learned, when you know that you are doing things right, don't let someone else treat you any other way.
That's so true. It's like giving that person your power. Yes. And when you give that person your power, they can do with it whatever they want to actually.
Because they've seen how far they can push you.
Yes. And so if you don't step up for yourself the first time, it's just, you're going to find yourself in the same challenge every single time. Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, being a mom must be so difficult for you also, because you have to set a certain example for you and your baby all the time. What is the most important communication pattern between you and her? Thinking and taking into perspective of your entire life around her.
Yeah.
So what is the important communication pattern between you and her?
Love. That's and beautiful. Presence and being present. Yeah. I do everything out of love. I speak to her with respect, so she knows this is how we speak. So she will know not to speak to certain people a certain way, because that's just not how we talk. She learned very early while she was 1 to say, please, thank you, you're welcome, pleasure, because that's how we are in the house. So it's treating her with love, it's respect, it's being present in the moment, it's showering her with attention. Those are the things I feel build confidence in a child. And it raises a lady.
Yeah, it really does.
Yes, I'm trying to raise a lady.
Yeah, and it shows
you how to carry herself.
Correct, and it shows in your communication pattern at work, and that's why I asked you about your daughter, because your communication pattern, it sort of has the same energy throughout your entire life. Yeah, and it's so beautiful, especially when you have kids. Having your daughter throw a tantrum, I'm sure you speak to her so differently as to how you did when she was born. That time it was like, oh my God, why are you throwing a tantrum? And now it's like, baby girl, what's wrong?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you always ask her how she is?
Yes, I ask, what's going on? Are you okay? Or if it's like a play tantrum, like maybe we're outside a shop and she wanted something and I'm like, okay, you can have 1, but not 3. Yeah. And then she throw a tantrum. I usually record them so she can see them later.
You see yourself, actually.
So she should be throwing a tantrum and I'm just like,
yes.
Then later on, I'm like, who's this? It's like, it's not me. I'm like, it's you. And when you're 18, I'm going to play this on the biggest screen of life so everyone can see what you're doing. Like. Yeah. So, and everything this is what they go through. Tantrums are part of it. Drawing on the walls is part of it. You can't throw a fit at a child for drawing on the walls. That's what they do. And honestly, it's not such a big deal because...
Paint over it.
Yes, paint over it. Oh, you know what? We have amazing detergents now.
Yeah, we do.
All you have to do is just put it one swipe.
You're good.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Also, I always tell parents this, why are you giving a child a crayon for a child that's doing painting in varsity when they have crayons for babies that are practically like water? You draw there, you just wipe with water and it's off.
It's over.
So also, you are the one to blame. It's like, for example, we were at a house in Durban. We booked an Airbnb and it had white couches. So her dad goes and he sits down and he opens a chocolate.
Oh gosh.
Obviously,
I'm having a panic attack.
She is going to come.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's going to want a chocolate. Obviously, she's going to put it all over the couch. So what should you do? Don't eat a chocolate on a white couch.
Come on, it's white.
So whose fault was that?
Her dad, obviously.
Exactly. And that's what I said to him. I'm like, you can't even shout at her. You can't even scold her.
Yeah.
Because who is wrong? She's not an adult. She doesn't know that she's not supposed to. Yeah. Yes, we teach her to wipe her hands, but she's gonna do this or whatever. She is 3 years old, So we know what she's going to do. Why are you doing certain things on a white couch? Because you know.
You know.
So I was just like, dude, it's fine, And honestly, by the time we left, it was gone. All I had to do is just put a little detergent and the chocolate was gone. But it was, there was chocolate all over the couch. It was messy. But I was like, there's no need to shout at her because we as the adults were wrong. Don't eat chocolate on a high couch. So it's just speak to they are human beings, and if you speak to them, it's like not speaking baby talk
language
to them. Oh my God. Because then you realize, you wonder why at 5 years old they're still going
yeah.
That's because that's how you've been speaking to them, and they think that's how you're supposed to speak to them. So when Nami was a baby and people were like, oh, I'd be like,
no. Can you speak to her like an adult, please?
Yeah,
actually,
she can hear you.
Yeah,
she can hear everything you're saying, and she understands. So please, can you just speak normally? And we would speak Zulu to her because I knew that she'd learn English at school, which she does. She knows English and she knows Zulu very well. So I would be like, just speak normally. She can hear you. She understands. So now she speaks fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, her speech is great.
Have you ever been able to break? This is something I've always wanted to know. A lot of people on your social media look up to you, not because of your career, but also because you're a mom.
Yeah.
And because I think Nami is your like pride and joy.
Absolutely.
How have you been able to break from a character? Because I mean, like, babe, your character recently she's giving me stress. How have you been able to break from being on set all day and then walking into the household and Nami's there and you have to change and be Jessica?
That is why I appreciate that I studied drama.
Okay.
So
you know how to switch off immediately?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a BA in drama and performing arts. So we were taught how to get into character and to get out of character. Usually when we were studying, we'd put on an imaginary suit of putting on the character, and then you'd go into stage and you'd perform and get out and you take off the imaginary suit. We'd have like a few minutes of taking it on and off.
Yeah.
What I do now is, as soon as I put on my character's outfits, that's my suit that I'm putting on.
Wow.
So I am no longer Jessica in that moment.
Wow.
I would always say it's crazy that Jessica would have a headache, but as soon as I get to set and I get dressed, I don't have that headache. I don't know how it works. I can't even explain it, but the headache is gone. Now all my issues are my character's issues.
Yeah.
Me, I'm there. I will see me later.
You have exited.
But for now, let's focus on this girl. And then as soon as we wrap and I take off her outfits, she's gone.
Have you ever forgotten?
No, I can't make that mistake. What does happen if my character is going through something highly emotional,
Yeah.
that hits. That hits because you have to talk yourself out of it. You have to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and go, this is not happening to you. It's okay. I know you've been miserable the whole day. You've been crying. Your eyes are red. Your body is tired. But just get home, shower, sleep. Usually, if it is something highly emotional, I mean, I've gone through where my character was raped in my previous production. That hit.
I remember.
Yeah, it was horrible. But you talk yourself out of it, and you talk yourself out of, no, I'm done shooting now. Don't be so miserable. You are okay. You were not raped. Now, she was highly emotional when she lost her sister. I had to each day speak myself out of being in grieving mode and get out of it and be okay. What helps is also playing good music in the car. I usually play a lot of gospel. And by the time I get home, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
What does motivation look like to you? I mean, you have had to rely on a lot of self-motivation because it was only you. This was your destiny. You were going to write it. This was your journey. So what does that look like to you on a daily basis? Is Nami a huge part of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nami is a huge part, but also I owe it to myself.
Wow.
I owe myself to fulfill my dreams. I owe it to myself of when I have an idea to do everything I can to bring it to fruition. I owe it to myself to live the life I imagine myself living.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. A lot of the people will always say, or a lot of people that I've met over the years have always said your biggest inspiration is you. Well, something that I say, my biggest inspiration is me in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's my biggest role model. I don't have anyone else. That's a huge role model for me.
Imagine that, man.
You know, but the guy in 35, at 35 years old, that's who I aspire to be at a later stage in life, you know?
Yeah.
It's so crazy, you know, being a mom, as I said to you, must be so difficult for you. So now that Nami is your biggest inspiration, Nami and yourself, and you giving credit to yourself, what does self-motivation in terms of rituals every day look like to you? So do you have a certain thing that you do? Do you like affirmation? Do you meditate? Do you journal? These are things that people don't really know about you.
Yeah, well, I'm a big journal person. I mean,
Really?
I have journals that I wrote when I was still in varsity.
Wow.
And I read them back now and I just weep because I'm like, oh my God, when you write something, it happens. I really believe in that. I'm like, write it down, because your dreams are so big and in your head you're so scared and they scare you.
Yeah.
And there's just a certain piece in writing your prayers down, writing what you want to do down. I mean, I would sit there watching movies and I'd be like, oh, I'd love to do a movie like that. And I'd write out the characters.
Oh, wow.
I'd write out what I'd love to be ambassador of. I'd write out
wow.
the cover of magazines I'm going to be on. I would write out what production companies I'm going to work with. I remember before I even got a role, I had seen a documentary on Angus, who is with Bomb, and so many actors were speaking so highly of him, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna work with that man, you know. And lo and behold, when I auditioned for Isibaya, he was there auditioning me.
Wow.
I got there and I'm like,
oh my gosh, I literally wrote about you.
this is
That's
not
so
happening.
crazy.
I'm like, I have to ace this, because then he was my boss
Wow.
for the next 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm a big journaler. I believe in writing your prayers down, because sometimes you're afraid to say something because you feel like it's not going to come true.
Yeah.
You know, you're afraid
uncomfortable,
of,
right?
Yes, you're afraid of admitting
Yes.
that you want an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's frightening, because you're like, how am I even going to do it?
Yeah.
But do you know God?
Yeah.
He can take you from 0 to 100. And I've seen him do that in my life. And I think a motivation for me is I've seen how far God can take me. Why am I limiting God? Because I've seen that he can do this. Imagine what he can do next.
Yes.
And it just imagine after that what he can do. So don't think that you've asked enough of God and you've walked enough with him that this is okay what you've given me. No, he says
There's so much more.
there's so much more in store for you, and believe and know that you're going to achieve it. So I write down. I'm a big prayer person. My relationship with God is of the biggest importance. I pray about everything. I include God in everything. Wow. And yeah, if you could see the number of journals on my side table.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I am a big writer. I'm big on writing down and then going back and reading. And you actually, when you go back, you're like, oh my gosh. Oh,
did I really write that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every time I go to my glam room and I have them all on the wall, and I'll just be like, read one of them. If you're feeling like you haven't gotten anywhere, just take one and open it and read it.
And remember where you were.
Yeah. And you'll see this brand you wanted to work with, and you were ambassador of that brand. You wanted to work with this brand, and boom, and like, look, you wrote all of them down, and look at your life now.
Yeah.
So don't take anything for granted.
Do you believe that self-belief is the biggest break between humanity and your dreams? Because I mean, were you ever ready for what you have at this moment? And at the end of the day, I always believe that between God and you, it's always about, I feel like God is always like, okay, Jessica, believe in yourself and I'll give it to you first.
Yeah, get ready.
You first believe in yourself, like I believe in you, and then I'll give it to you.
Yes.
But I can't give it to you if you don't believe in yourself. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's like when people say, oh, what must I do if I want to act? I'm like, even just take drama up at school.
Yeah.
Do something
for you.
Yeah, do something for yourself. Do something to grow you in that area that you want to be in. I promise you, God will meet you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, God will always meet you there.
It's so true. Were you ever ready for where you are at this moment? And you saying that this is not the pinnacle, but I mean, you feel like you're nearly there.
Yeah.
Are you ever ready for all of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I literally studied LLB for 2 years. dreaded it. I was just like, oh my God. I mean,
Friend, did you study law?
yes.
For real?
2 full years.
Wow.
Like
I would have never thought.
It was horrible. I mean, it wasn't horrible. You know, I was obviously studying. I was at a nice university, and it was nice.
Just wasn't you.
But I could not understand for the life of it. Like, why am I sitting in this library? Like, I would look for all of these cases, and I'm just like, oh, this is so dreadful. And instead, I'd go to the drama department and sit there and go, oh my gosh, they must be so happy. They're doing exactly what I want to do. And I'm like, well, if you want to do it, then why don't you just do it?
Exactly.
And I went to my mom and I said, I'm changing my degree from law to drama. And they were just like,
what?
The hell you are? And I'm like, the hell I am. You know? And fortunately, I was very stern. You could say I'm stubborn, but because I will go for what I want.
That's incredible.
And all the no's, I will say, while you say no in my head, I'm like, yes. I repeat what you're saying. I repeat what you're saying. You know, then I went straight into drama. Even in drama, when they'd say, oh, you know, when you finished here, just go do a course and whatever, just in case. And I was like, there's no just in case. This is going to be my life. I would sit there rebuking every negative thing. And I'm like, you are my teacher, but you are telling me that this is not going to happen.
Wow.
Then why are you teaching me this? Then I would sit there rebuking everything she'd said. And I'm just like, it's not going to happen with me. I'm like, that is not me. I will be successful. I will be an actor. I'll be on the biggest shows in the country and you will see. And that's exactly what happened.
That's amazing.
I was preparing for it my whole life, and I am living it.
In the terms of rejection, you know, if you're rebuking everything and every no that came towards you in your career, what did you do at the times then people were like, no, Jessica, you are not the girl for this movie. You are not the person for this for this role.
Yeah.
What were you saying to yourself at those moments?
Honestly, what people don't know is once you're in, you have to stay in. And it is difficult. You know, you will audition for a part and you're waiting and you're like, I know I'm going to get this. I know I'm going to get this. I'm not going to.
It's my vibe.
And then you don't. And then it's just like, oh, it hurts. But I always know that what is for me
will never pass you.
Will never pass me. It'll always find me some way or another. It's going to happen. And that has been proved so many times in my life. So I know that's how it is. And no one can take it away.
That's incredible.
So I know. So when I don't get something, I'm like, it's okay. It's not like I'm not in a long running show. You know, it's not like I don't have anything. I do. And I must appreciate where I am and look forward to where I'm going.
And I mean, there must be so many moments where like you got the audition and you were like, yeah, that character's me, man. Like, obviously, I'm going to rock up here and I'm going to book this.
I'm going to own it, you know? Or actually, you audition for the movie and you get the part and the production you're in are like, no, you can't do that because this is where you are. Your arc is up next. You have no time to do. You can't get a month off to do this movie. Wow. And, you know, you cry about it. It's happened to me so many times because I don't want to stop auditioning. So, yes, I'm in a long-running show, but when auditions come up, I do go and audition and you get the party. You'll be like, yes! And then you go there and you're like, okay, so this, and they just...
No. You can't.
No, you see, as this is the storyline and you are coming up, you're going to be shooting every single day back to back. You can't do that. And I have to go back and turn down a Netflix movie like I just did.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, my friend. That must be a tough one. And also,
I'm going to try not to cry.
Don't cry.
But I've cried about it and gotten over it.
Well, at the end of I love your perspective of what is for you will never pass you. I wish a lot of people can adapt that because it will help them deal with rejection 10 times better. Than what a lot of people do. Because a lot of people in our industry, and you know it for sure, a lot of people in our industry, they get rejected and it hurts them to a part of no return. There's no return for a lot of people. If you had one thing to say to that kind of person that deals with rejection and there is no return for them, what would you say?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you are the rebuker of rebukes.
Yeah, I would tell them to not forget that, you know, there's power in the tongue. Don't ever speak down on yourself.
Yes.
Because what you say, it's going to happen. You know, God created the earth by saying, you know, let there be, let there be. He didn't, you know, keep quiet and whatever. Or he didn't say, oh, I won't be able to. He said, this, let there be, this is what's going to happen, this is positivity over yourself.
Speak into existence.
So you speak positively over yourself, you speak positively about yourself. That I don't know how it works, but it just does, because even when you say it, your mind will believe it. And once you speak negatively over yourself, you will embody it. And then what is going to go right? Because you'll walk into a room saying, I'm not going to get this. Instead of walking into a room saying, I'm going to get this. This is mine. I'm not walking in here alone. I'm literally carried by God. Let's go.
That's amazing.
And already that changes so much for you. It changes even the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way people see you when you walk in. So I'd say to them, don't speak negatively over yourself. Don't speak down on yourself. Don't say, hey, me, nah. No. Say, way, nah.
Yeah.
That's who you are. Just remember that. Yeah.
You have to have a lot of conviction for yourself. And I've always said that people really don't understand that the power of the mind is unreal. It can change the course of your energy. It can change how you carry yourself, the way you speak to yourself. And it can also block your blessings. And if you don't know how to speak to yourself in the moment of very overwhelming situations, you will always find yourself in a negative space.
Thank you.
Regardless. Do you know what I mean? So the power of the mind is so insane. What is your biggest spiritual highlight of your life?
Definitely getting saved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where?
Definitely. I was in... Actually, when I think back, I'm like, have I been saved my whole life?
Has it been that long?
Also, you know how you will keep getting saved? Every time.
Save me, please.
Every time they'd give us a chance to stand up and accept God as your Lord and Savior, I would also stand up and I'm like, I think I'm probably the most born again person in the world, because every time they invite us to the altar,
you go.
Jessica is there. She's like ready. I'm always just like willing. I'm like, there's fire in me like every single week. And they'd be like, you're kidding. Born again every week. I'm like, so what? So what? Every time they invite us, I am there.
You're there.
So I think, let me just say varsity, because that's when I remember being more involved, being more aware. And church wasn't just somewhere where I was forced to go to every Sunday.
Felt like it was home for you.
Yes, I wanted to be there. I realized how it changed my doing, how it changed my life, how it changed how I view myself, how... all the promises in the Bible, how I know that they will come to be, I am who God says I am, and I live off of that. So it'll definitely be me being born again.
That's incredible.
Biggest highlight.
That's absolutely remarkable. And what is your relationship with God? And the reason why I ask this question is because a lot of people find themselves within religion, but they believe that going to church every single Sunday is the way you speak to him, and that's enough. So what does the relationship look like for you? Because for me, it's all here, like here, and how I treat other people.
Yes,
that is my energy that God flows through me. I don't have to go to church to prove that I love him or that I have a relationship with him. So what does it look like for you?
Also, did God said he only lives in church? That's the only place that you can find him? No,
not at all.
God says, I am with you always. God is here now. I can speak to him. I don't have to light candles and find a corner and put a blanket on the floor and no, he says, wherever you are, I am
with you.
And anywhere in the world, I could be in my car, I could be walking and I'll say a prayer anywhere. So don't forget that I nearly said it in Zulu, honey.
Honey, yeah, you're more than welcome to.
God, Unkulunkulu has said that he'll never leave us, he'll never forsake us. So wherever you are, God is. Wherever you create a space for him, he'll be there. Wherever you create space in your heart for him, he will be there. You invite him in and he will be there. Always, anywhere. So that's my relationship with God. And that was more enforced when we had lockdown and we couldn't go to church. So what did the people that think that God is only in church do? You can literally have church in your house, and that proved it. To many people, I'm sure many people's relationship with God got better. because they realized, oh my word, uNkulunkulu khona la.
Yeah.
Endlini,
He's
ukhona
literally
la.
right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You invite the Holy Spirit and you say, Holy Spirit, I welcome you into this place. Let's have church. Let's have fellowship with my
have a
family.
conversation.
Yes. Let's talk. Come walk with me, you know. So my relationship with God is he is always next to me and he never leaves me.
And it's a free flow conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand, is that you feel that, especially within religion, you are taught that you have to pray a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way.
Yeah.
When it's actually just
so
a conversation between the two of us.
Hear you.
Yeah. So that God can hear you.
Yes.
When it's actually just like, a lot of the times, you know, my energy and my relationship with God is actually a dear diary. For me, I look at it as a dear diary.
Yeah.
And so when I talk in my mind, and when I talk to him, or when I do talk to him, I talk to him like I would talk to a chummy.
Yes.
Or like I would talk to a friend, or I'd talk to my dad or my mom, you know?
Yeah. It took me going to varsity and leaving home to realize in Gembela who God is, that you don't have to be wearing a skirt to speak to God. I come from a home where highly religious, the church I went to, Elutela. You do not wear skirts, you do not show skin, you know, you only pray a certain way, you pray the group prayer, not on your own.
Yeah.
You know, you are a child.
Yeah.
It's like,
how dare you?
Yeah. No, this is my God. It's my Father.
My
I can
relationship.
speak to my Father whenever I want. And, you know, I got to varsity and, you know, we were allowed to wear jeans and vests to church. And I'm like, they're not wearing heels, they're wearing sneakers to church. You know, we'd come to church like this and it's like, no, so we'd wear sneakers and jeans. I remember even going back home and I'd forgotten and I went to church and I put on a jean and a top and my mom was like, girl, where do you think you are? And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. And I'd get there and I'd pray on my own and they're just like, I'm like, but he's my Father too. I'm allowed to speak to him privately on my own, you know. Even just their way of praying where they'd be like, it's more personal. Father, we welcome you into this place, instead of the one prayer that we've been taught, you know.
Yes.
Then I learned, oh my word, God is everywhere.
This is more about you
Yes,
than it is about anyone else.
it's not a religion. We are soldiers, you know. It's a relationship. And that's what I loved about breaking out of home. To see and explore and really learn more about God. And that's where it came from.
Your spirituality has really broadened, obviously, since you've left home. You know, do you meditate or do anything else besides journal?
I don't know if I meditate. Maybe my meditation is writing. Yeah, maybe my form of meditation is writing, because I sit in silence and I write.
And it's just you and the book.
Yeah, me and my book. I'll stop and pray. I'll write. I'll stop and pray. I'll worship. Yeah.
And it's very free flowed, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Very.
And it's so incredible. I love what you said earlier, that you always go back to your journals. Every time you think that you are not where you were supposed to be, you go back and you read back, you're like, whoa, actually, I said that last year, August.
Yes.
And I said this last year, November, actually, and here we are.
Yeah, maybe we succumb to the pressure of the world and we think that we're not anywhere. So you need to go back and see how far God has taken you, just to remind yourself, and that way you know for a fact that he can take you even further. So whatever is bringing you down and whatever is shaking you a bit right now, don't lose faith. Don't lose hope of the fact that better is coming, greater is coming.
Do you feel like the world and human beings today are cut back and they live in a very dark slump because more is always the achievement? It's never enough. Have you ever gotten to a point where you were like, this is enough and I need a little bit more, and that sort of put you in a dark slump? Because I believe everyone just they get to a point, they get to a pinnacle, and it's like, I'm here, but I want more. Why is it not enough?
We always chasing for the next thing. That's why like contentment is so important. You know, just a sense of being content and knowing where you want to go and setting goals for yourself so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And also not always looking at others. You know, it's, oh my God, they will, I want to be there. Oh my God, they. And sadly, we have social media now.
The comparison is such that it's the devil.
It is horrid because, you know, you'll find a 16-year-old girl, an 18-year-old girl looking at someone who is 26 and they are under pressure wanting that now.
Life.
And I'm like, do you know how old they are? You haven't even finished matric. They finished matric. They went to varsity. Like, look, focus on
gradual progression.
Yes, focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Now you are in grade 11. You are looking at someone who is 27, so many years older than you, and you're just like, oh my word, she just bought a Mercedes Benz.
How dare she?
What am I going to do? I need to buy a Mercedes Benz now. And create my business. Then now you're going to fail. Because now you're trying to build that business that she has built and she's 27.
Yes.
Now you're going to fail grade 11.
Yeah.
How has that helped you, babe? When you go, let me get through grade 11. Oh, matric, done. Oh, great. Okay. What else? Oh, let me start this now. Oh, but then don't forget where you are going and, the progression of your life. Don't succumb to watching people that are older than you and feeling the pressure. Just focus on yourself. That's why, like, that line, stay in your lane, is overused, but that actually is true.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the truth.
Stay in your lane. God put passions. God gave you talents for you. He didn't give her a talent so that you can see what she does and go, okay, I want to do that. What are you good at? What do you love? Find your proper passion. Find what Nkulunkulu has placed in your heart of this is what you will succeed in. I mean, Serena, she could have looked at someone going, oh, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a doctor, and maybe she would have ignored tennis, like, tennis is just something that I play in my I'm good at it, cool,
good at it, but whatever.
I really want to be a doctor like that one. But she decided you focus on what you're good at. I am good at tennis, and I will change the world with tennis. I want to be a doctor, and I will change the world with being a doctor. So whatever lane and whatever passions and talents God has given you, that is where you will excel. I believe that to the core. So that's what I even pray for my daughter. I'm like, Lord, may she find her purpose, because I know that's where she will truly thrive.
Do you want her to find her purpose earlier in life? Because, a lot of kids, they find a lot of talents very early.
Yeah. God,
in your timing.
I always say, what you have planned, instill it in my daughter and make it. And also I pray for me to raise her in the way that God wants me to. The wisdom, I pray for wisdom to be able to raise my daughter a certain way that God, wena ufuna kwenzeke makwenzeke, let your will be done with my daughter, because I know that she will be and is a phenomenal human being, and I know uNkulunkulu uthumisa. So I stay in him to be able to raise my daughter the way he sees fit.
I absolutely love the energy and the perspective that you have. It's so present. It's so here. It's so now. And
we can't dictate.
Yeah, and you block out everything that's around you because you really want to be present in the moment, you know? And you give that energy. You obviously believe in energy transferring and whatever you speak of comes into fruition, you know? How have you dealt, and this is my last question for you, how have you dealt with people trying to block your blessings, Jess? Because I'm sure there is no way that you can tell me where we are right now, people have not tried to come into your career and be like, no, actually.
No one can ever block my blessings. Who are you? You're not God. So that's not even something I can address, because no one is going to block my blessings. No one has blocked my blessings. Whatever you try and do that you think will hinder. Trust me, it'll only make me go further, because you're going to cry about it. You're going to be like, I tried to do this, but she just...
Yeah, she came in.
With that, she stepped on it and then carried on and flew. You know? And that is what I believe. I am not... Angidalwanga umuntu, angisiyena inzulu, we say awusiyena umuntu, angisiyena umuntu ngowaNkulunkulu. I am not a person's. I belong to God. So you as a person, trust me, there's nothing you can do to me. That won't, I know God will, even if whatever you do try, God will use it to
catapult you to your next life.
Trust me.
And a lot of the people see, they audition or they do something, they try and move forward in their career, and they see that someone else has got in that position. I always say to people when they come to me, be like, oh, but this girl got this role and I didn't get the role. I say, no, my baby, that role was meant for that girl. That role was not meant for you. She didn't come and take your dream away from you. It just, God has bigger things for you. It's much bigger than you can think, and you need to realize that.
Oh my word. That is what I remember when I did my audition for Ismaya, I was like, Lord, I'm walking into this. And if it's not for me, I always believed that you'd walk into audition room, even if you don't get that part, someone will see you in that room and go, but that girl, she may not have been for this specifically, but that girl. And they will be doing something else and they will remember. They would go, Jessica. I'm like, I know as I'm walking into this, I'm walking into greatness, whether I get this role or not.
It's leaving a footprint wherever you go.
I've always believed that.
What is the one thing that your followers don't know about you? Or that your fans don't know about you?
Oh my gosh.
There must be one thing.
What's the one thing? What were we talking about?
Friend. One thing.
We were talking about something recently, and Sibu, she was like, oh, no one knows that about you, Jessica. And I remember laughing so hard. I'm like, no one must find out.
No, and here you are.
You know. Oh, where were we? Oh my gosh, now that I want it, it's not going to come.
It's okay, you'll think about it.
I feel like I'm such an open person. Like
I also think so, but I always ask this question because there might be like one thing. And I said it on my previous episode. Not a lot of people know that my second name is Eugene.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know that
Eugene.
I can't. It's my dad's name, but I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know that I can't swallow tablets. Those are.
You can't swallow tablets?
I can't.
So what do you do?
I crush them and I eat them.
Ooh,
Fish oil,
that is even more
vitamin
disgusting.
C. Nasty, right?
Oh, it'll be so quicker to just throw it down your throat.
I don't know why. It's kind of weird. It's like
I can even drink tablets without water. You just open up your mouth and just throw
No, dude,
it in.
that's not me at all.
And then swallow.
You can't think of one thing that people don't know about you. One thing.
You know what? The second you say goodbye, it'll come to me. I hate this so much.
Jess, it's been absolutely amazing to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being super vulnerable. You see, she's thinking about it now.
Oh, it's killing me. I hate it. It's like trying to remember a name of a movie and it doesn't come to you. And then the whole day, that's all I can think about.
What's the one thing?
So I find it.
About me? You'll find it. Thank you so much for being here today, dude.
I tell people I can cook.
You can?
I've told people that now they know because I recently just told everyone that I love having breakfast for dinner. Yes, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I have breakfast
for dinner.
I love having breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
I think because I don't like having like big meals. So the quickest thing is to just have avo, egg, bacon.
Breakfast is the best meal of the day.
So I will have breakfast. Even my partner knows, take me to restaurants where they have an option of all day breakfast. Because I get there and I'm like, this is so heavy. I'm like,
too much.
Listen, hi, please may I just have
breakfast,
your farm style breakfast, your all.
I'm
so
good.
I eat breakfast any time of day. I will be like, okay, I'm cooking dinner, and they're like, but we smell bacon. I'm like, that's dinner.
That's dinner, babe. That's dinner.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So you have breakfast for dinner. That's the one thing people don't know about you.
Yes.
It's been absolutely incredible to have you on the show. It's even been, I'm so grateful I've gotten to know you in the past year.
Yeah.
You have such a beautiful energy, and I always want you to remember that. And the things that you speak into life, you inspire a lot of people around you. And I hope you know that. And I'm sure you do.
Thank you.
You really are an incredible person.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely amazing to have Jess on the show. You can follow all of Jessica's journey on social media platforms at Jessica Nkosi. We will link all of her socials in the description down below. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors, Vodcast TV, Neon Feed, Clark Media, and the entire Switch On team. Don't forget, you can stream this episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watch the entire episode on the YouTube channel. Engage with us. Share the moments that inspire you. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Love you, girl. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.
Bye.